the next thing that we can do to sort of support all students is by encouraging authentic tasks and content in order to engage our English language learners. So creating opportunities in the classroom for genuine communication and interaction, not only tasks that are specifically written for the purpose of language learning, is very important. These tasks are more engaging if you get to do something authentic than something that is just sort of created for the purpose of 7th period or literacy block, but they give students opportunities to practice language in real ways, making the language more real to the student and helping them to make connections between language and the real world. And we're preparing students to be active and productive members of the real world. So understanding how the language that they're learning in your classroom fits in there is extremely important. So, of course, a huge challenge that is facing language teachers, content teachers, really any teacher that is engaging with students of all ages is how to capture their interest, stimulate their imagination, help students feel more motivated and engaged. So there are some ways that we can do this, and a lot of times this is sort of on the work of the teacher to be sort of supplemental, but also it can be embedded in the content that you're doing. So if you're thinking about giving students a listening, something to listen to or something to view, think about read-alouds, documentaries, video clips that show real world. And again, if you've done the work of sort of knowing your students and their cultural identity, this of course is another great way to connect to that. Visual materials, so especially when we're teaching vocabulary using sort of photographs, paintings, signs, real representations of the words that they need to learn is important. If you're using printed materials, thinking about nonfiction texts, so newspapers, postcards, letters, can show students how language is used in a real context. And then finally, realia, so these are real world objects that can illustrate points visually for students. Awesome, and I think done a lot in a science classroom, but there's also ways that you can do this in your early literacy classroom as well. And again, sort of the goal here is to just think about what are we putting in front of students, how can we engage them, how can we show them that the language that they are learning is applicable to the real world.